What up, you guys? Slim here at SlimXTeampurplepanda, here to do another deck discussion. We're going to talk about a deck that, has been around for quite a while. It just hasn't seen as much play, as it used to back in past formats. It's a really cool deck, really fun. I actually got to pull out a couple cards out of my binder to fully explain the deck. But we're going to talk about Gadget Stun, you guys. People remember Gadget Stun. Shout out to Team Mindmaster for this idea. Gadget Stun, is really simple, you guys. You run gadgets, you run, anti-meta cards like Thunder King. You just run a lot of different cards. Back in the day, Gadget Stun was amazing because you had Triple Royal Decree. You had the gadgets constantly cycling through themselves, Pot of Avarice, tons of stuff that could, just slow down the opponent. And, now you don't see Gadget Stun as much, especially since Machina came out. A lot of people haven't really been running them. So, there's still a, relevant deck, but they're not as good as they used to be. Like they mained, a lot of different cards to like slow down the opponent. The basis of their deck was simple. You ran gadgets. Back in the day, people would run Kaiku to slow down, chaos plays. You run, just a lot of random stuff that, smacks your opponent hard. Nowadays, if you were to do gadget stun, it kind of pales in comparison to Machina stun. For people who know, I did Machina stun a while back, and what I never told people was that when it broke down to Machina stun, I actually was leaving my gadgets in and just siding stun stuff in because the gadgets thinned my deck, searched my deck, made it so much easier for me to, make my opponent waste cards because I thought they were playing gadgets, and then I dropped Thunder King or I dropped Doom Caliber Knight or, anything like that that would slow down an opponent. That's basically what gadgets did. And nowadays people are wondering, how would you run Gadget Stun now? I actually do have plans to possibly make Gadget Stun again, depending on what the list does. I think Ultimate Offering will be getting hit to 1, so XYZ gadgets aren't going to be as good as they are. Right now, I've heard things that the deck is slow, but I could be wrong. But everyone knows level 4 gadget plus level 4 gadget equals Utopia. Utopia is amazing. What's amazing about Gadget Stun is that, they're a deck that runs cards like this in triples. They run triple Smashing Ground. They run a lot of cards that hurt the opponent's ability to have monsters on the field. They lock them down. They run they run the basics. If you run a Gadget Stun deck, you're going to run your basic traps. They're going to run their double bottomless. They're going to run their double to triple, D-prison. They're going to run their warnings. They're going to run 7 tools, all that stuff, all that jazz that almost every deck runs. The reason why the deck is good is because it's really kind of against the meta where you want to have control from the very beginning, and gadgets do build control over time. You summon one, search another, if this deck isn't Machina based, you're not going to be pitching your gadgets. You're going to be sitting on your gadgets and using your spells and traps to destroy your opponent's monsters and slowly beating them down with other cards. And that's what makes Gadget Stun really good. You can't bottomless the gadgets. You have to warning them, and it's kind of pointless, especially since they get another one if one of the other summons was successful. And they just wear down your points. I've seen some Gadget Stuns run Royal Decree, which is amazing. I just reviewed Royal Decree. But to the point where you stop your opponent's traps and you just stop their monsters with Pure Brute Force, which is Smashing Ground, Fissure, Dark Hole, all those cards that would destroy monsters. And, it's just a really coul deck. You run Cyber Dragons, you run just different types of monsters that, get around your opponent and totally just, smack down their life points slowly but surely. And that's what's really cool about the deck. The deck is very versatile. A lot of decks don't see it coming. You do have to set up fairly early in order to have an advantage because gadgets are weak, but combined, with other cards, they become really good, and that's what gives the deck its edge, like when you need it. I like the deck. Like I said, I was basically running Gadget Stun when I did Machina Side to Stun, siding in, my Thunder Kings, siding in Doom Caliber Knights, stuff like that. And, it's cards like that that really do make a difference. These days, the format's different, so you have to know what to do. Some gadgets were maining Nobleman of Crossout, you'd be maining Thunder King to lock down your opponent from adding cards to their hand. And, that's the thing with Thunder King is you just stall on it because, it would hurt your gadgets, but you wouldn't be stupid enough to summon a gadget while you have Thunder King on the field. So, you control with Thunder King dies, you summon a gadget, you plus another monster to your hand. And that's basically how the deck runs. It's a really cool deck. I don't know what its future is, though, because with Plants and Samurai, Gravekeeper running around, a lot of the decks like this just really get hurt because you try so hard to get rid of monsters, but when you have cards like this to get them back, it's hard to, do things. I mean, samurais have double edge. Samurais have a lot of stuff. And decks like that just have the advantage over a stun based deck because anti meta is good, but Gravekeepers have been known to be the anti meta. So it's like you're not going really with the meta. You're just kind of slowly pick off their monsters, and that's what I honestly think, you guys. Depending on what you're going to play next format, Gadget stun is definitely an option. It's a really cool version of stun. I like that gadgets are stun based because not only can you make it stun based, you can include gravity bind and you can go utopia and you can just run over your opponent's monsters, and I think that's really cool since exceed monsters are not level based but ranked based. They do get around gravity bind. If people didn't know that, check it out. Just really cool how they made that an option. So that's all I really got to say on Gadget Stun, you guys. I do see it having potential in the future. I mean, right now it's not a bad option, especially on a budget. It's not a bad option for a deck. I just think Machina Gadget is better because Machina Gadget or Exceed Gadget is better just because it's faster and it's more explosive. And decks like that do need to be explosive against decks that conserve, because if you can beat out their conservative plays, get them to waste stuff, you're definitely going to win. And a lot of people get overwhelmed when they're faced with so many monsters and really no way out. So that's what I honestly think, you guys. Leave your feedback below. Let me know what you guys think. Does anyone run a Gadget Stun deck? Link me some videos or something. Like I said, I have plans to eventually remake Machina Stun depending on the ban list in September. Until then, though, I won't be messing with it. But once I know for sure what's going on with Duality and a couple other cards, I'll probably be making it soon. So stay in tune for that. But this was just another deck discussion. Once again, shout out to Team Mindmaster for the idea. I hope this answered your questions about Gadget Stun. I'm very familiar with the deck. I really like the deck. I think now is just not the best time to run it since so many decks can counter anti-meta easily. But, that's all I have to say, you guys. Leave your feedback below. Please continue to rate, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching.